position so they can begin.
We will not
Ben
start
Johnson
the press
has been
conference
stripped of his
unless
gold medal.
everybody is in
He has
position.
apparently left the country. Olympic officials asking the television crews to get into place so they can start this press conference.
Please, Slook staff, can you please clear the podium? This podium is not for the staff, it's for the ENG crews.
All right, they want the staff out of the way, so the ENG, that stands for Electronic News Gathering Crews, the television crews, can have the podium to cover this historic news conference. Ben Johnson tested positive twice. Chris Cuthbert is still downtown at the Hilton Hotel. Chris reports that there are some rumors that Ben is indeed hiding on the 11th floor. However, Dr. Roger Jackson, the president of the Canadian Olympic Association, told CBC Radio a short time ago that he has confirmed that Ben Johnson has indeed left the country. We really have to put this tragedy into perspective. This is probably the darkest moment in Olympic history. Jim Thorpe, as we said earlier, the great American decathlete, won the gold medal in the decathlon in Stockholm in 1912, was stripped of his medal for receiving something like $125. It is obviously nowhere near as serious as this. Ben Johnson has lost his gold medal. The medal has gone to Carl Lewis. As we await the start of this press conference, Don Whitman and Jeff Gowan, I believe you're still back out at the stadium. Jeff Gowan, I was saying that this is much more serious than anything that happened with Jim Thorpe, a black day for the Olympics, and these games have been going so well. Don, I remember you and I talked before the games. Remember everyone said, you think there will be a terrorist attack? Do you think they'll go well? They've gone so well, and this has indeed flooded the parade.
Well, it really has, Brian. You know, everyone at the Village this morning, we were awakened at 5 this morning and informed that the news had just broken, that it had been confirmed. There had been rumors, apparently, among the Canadian athletes yesterday. I think, Jeff, we had maybe a hint from Mark McCoy that something was amiss.
Yes, because Mark McCoy came up to the broadcast area after his hurdles final, and we were asking about Ben with particular reference, of course, to the 4x1 relay. We were questioning Mark on the running order. And he didn't have a lot to say about Ben other than the fact that he was running the anchor leg, and we suggested that that possibly wasn't the best place to put him. He should start off number 1. And Mark's comment was that, well, Ben wanted to run the anchor leg, and that was all he said about him. There was no comment that he was away concentrating on preparation for the relay. He was perhaps a little evasive and maybe knew more than we suspected at that time.
But it was amazing this morning at the Village, all the athletes talking about the incident. That was all they were talking about, even as they were boarding buses to head off to their events at 6 and 7 a.m. this morning, the Seoul time. And people just couldn't believe it, particularly that it was Ben Johnson. Then there were the others who said, well, that musculature development in the upper body, he had to be doing something other than just lifting weights.
Yes, and that's true. I mean, he has a very, very well-developed musculature. He's built along the lines of a weightlifter or even a bodybuilder. And perhaps now that we know this story, it's the assistance of the steroids plus the very heavy weight training that he has been doing that has produced this. And it's a very heavy price to pay, I think. We say what price glory, what price a gold medal. Well, I think for many athletes, it's almost any price.
Jeff, from now on, too, every performance is going to come under the microscope, under question. Someone runs a world record, they're going to say yes, but let's wait for the test.
Well, I think absolutely, and this is very sad, as we said earlier on. No longer can you immediately respond to an excellent performance by congratulating the athlete and being thrilled by the performance per se. There is almost always, at least in the back of the mind, that secondary question which says, I wonder. And that's a sad reflection on the state of sport, I think, of international sport, where the pressures are enormous and where, let's face it, the media plays its role in blowing some of these athletes up out of all proportion.
Let's go to the press conference now.
Press conference is about to begin. You are looking at the main press center, which is across the street from the main stadium, where Don Whitman and Jeff Gowan are, and will continue to stand by. Obviously, everything here takes a back seat to the Ben Johnson story. Unfortunately, Canadians are competing this morning. We will endeavor to bring you up to date on on-field activities, but they are nowhere near the story this is. That looks like possibly, no, I thought it might be Dick Pound, the Montreal lawyer that's the vice president of the International Olympic Committee, touted as a possible successor to Juan Antonio Samaranch, but that is not Dick Pound. These are IOC officials. This news conference now about 5 or 6 minutes late in starting. We should tell you, outside our studios, we have crews from Japan, the United States, all over the world, wanting Canadian reaction to this stunning news.
No interview. You announce nothing. It's IOC.
The lady saying no interviews. Very interesting to see how the IOC will handle this. And it'll be even more interesting to see how Canadian officials handle this. I know in the National tonight, there'll be reaction from officials back home. That is Michele Verdiere of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, who is orchestrating this news conference. It will be interesting to see the reaction of people back home. Madame Jean Charest, our Federal Minister of Sport, enthusiastic supporter of the Canadian team here at the start of the games, but like his predecessor, Otto Jelinek, very firm in his stand against drugs, and it will be interesting to see reaction from Canadian officials. Right now, about 5 minutes after 10, Tuesday morning, here in Seoul. What's ironic is this is a down day for track and field. There's no track and field competition. We had a long day yesterday. We've had a grueling weekend, and all of us here figured, you know, this is going to be a great day, a very easy day at the games, a lot of interesting competition, but nothing too hectic, and we were looking forward to sort of catching our breath as we head into the home stretch. The gentleman we're looking at right now, seated, is in charge of the medical commission for the IOC, the second vice president of the IOC, Prince Alexander de Merode. And he is from Belgium, the man that has the final word on all medical matters concerning these Olympic Games. But as I was saying, the irony of it all is this was supposed to be a very quiet day, a day for a rest for the athletes in track and field. It has been anything but quiet here in Seoul this morning, and what remains to be seen is how this affects the rest of the games. Alex Baumann said earlier, told us the Canadians are obviously devastated. They're embarrassed. And again, all Canada shared in Ben's moment of glory when it occurred. We told you how the hotels where the Canadians are staying here celebrated it. And now, of course, they look on Canadians for their reaction, and I think we're just about ready to go. Well, another momentary delay. Prince Alexander de Merode, second vice president of the IOC from Belgium, in charge of all medical affairs. To the left of your screen, you can just see his shoulder. And they're just about to get underway. They're about 10 minutes late right now. Ben Johnson, rumored to have left the country. Dr. Roger Jackson says that has been confirmed. Ben was supposed to run in Tokyo, October the 8th. If you saw the National after he won the gold, he said he was going to return home to Canada October the 9th. Obviously, Ben is not going to be running anywhere in the near future, especially in Tokyo, and the sad reality is that Ben Johnson could be suspended for life from all future competition. He has officially been stripped of his gold medal. Obviously, the world record has been voided of 9.79. The gold medal has been awarded to Carl Lewis from the United States. Carl Lewis said after the race, and I quote, he, brackets Ben, must be seeing a hypnotist. He has to be doing something to stimulate himself in this final. And Prince Alexander still waiting to get underway. I am told the crush of media, radio, television, newspapers is absolutely unbelievable. Here we go.
If you are all ready, maybe we can start. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the press release, which I will have to read on behalf of the International Olympic Committee. It's a recommendation of the IOC Medical Commission to the IOC Executive Board, which met this morning, and this recommendation has been unanimously approved by the IOC Executive Board. The urine sample of Ben Johnson, Canada, athletics 100 meter, collected on Saturday 24 September 1988, was found to contain the metabolites of a banned substance, namely Stanozolol. It's an anabolic steroid. The IOC Medical Commission discussed all arguments presented by the Canadian delegation, especially the statement that the substance in question might have been administered after the competition by a third party. The steroid profile, however, is not consistent with such a claim. The IOC Medical Commission recommends the following sanction: disqualification of this competitor from the Games of the 24th Olympiad in Seoul. The decision remains independent of any sanction which the International Federation concerned may wish to apply in accordance with its own regulations. Of course, the gold medal has been withdrawn by the IOC. At the end of the meeting, once the recommendation has been unanimously adopted by the Executive Board, the President of the IOC made the following comment: that it was a blow for the Olympic Games and the Olympic movement, but it shows also that the IOC was right in the firm stance it has adopted in order to keep the sport clean. I now leave the floor to Monseigneur Prince de Merode, Chairman of the IOC Medical Commission.
Je voudrais renforcer encore ce qui a été dit par le président du CIO à la fin de la réunion de la commission exécutive.
People who know me in Jamaica and people who know me here know I would never take drugs. I've never ever knowingly taken illegal drugs, and I would never embarrass my family, my friends, and my country, and the kids who love me. My mother taught me that there's the only way to win and plan to come back. Still a champion as a winner in the next Olympic Games. For now, there's nothing more I can tell you because I just don't know. But I do know, I do have a favor to ask. My family and I need some time and peace. Please, please grant us that. I want to thank the Canadian and the people around the world for their good wishes and their support. Thank you kindly for listening.
I don't suppose there will be a photo session afterwards, and I gather that the people at the back would like to see the people in the front. So perhaps you could just move back for a couple of minutes and we can do this afterwards. Thank you. I don't suppose we can remove some of these mics. I can put my notes down somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may just interrupt the pictures for a moment. I've been asked by Ben and his family to give him advice in respect to his career. These past 8 days have been extremely difficult for Ben and his family. And because a lot of you nice people have been busy calling me, all wanting to see Ben, to speak to him, to have a private interview with him, by looking around the room and seeing the number of reporters and the number of networks that are present here today, it would be impossible for Ben and myself and the family to fulfill all the requests that have been made, and I may add sincerely made. We felt that this was the fairest way at this time of dealing with all the media that wanted to see Ben and hear his statement. Ben has told his story. That is the only story he knows. I am personally delighted that the government has now indicated that they will have a probe. I am hopeful that the answers that the public, the media, and most of all Ben himself would like to know will be revealed. From a legal point of view, we are presently investigating the appeal provisions of the CTFA, as the Canadian Track and Field Association, the IOC, International Olympic Commission, to determine what course of action we as council have to follow in order to provide the kind of appeal that will help clear Ben's name. I have been in touch with the Minister's office, Minister of Sport, and I've been advised by one of his staff that I will have some input in the terms of reference in respect to that probe. Pertaining to the story that appeared in the Stern magazine, I haven't read that story, but I've read certain excerpts. I can only tell you that Ben has assured me that he never gave that interview last week. I'll allow you to draw your own conclusions as to how they think they got that story. Some people are interested in Ben's finances. I have no idea at this time what his finances are. We are presently investigating that as well. I know that some sponsors have left him. I know others have stayed. When we are in receipt of the information pertaining to that area, we'll take the next step. George, I would like to reiterate again what I said earlier. That the story that Ben has given is the only story that Ben knows. I also want to add, for those that have expressed some interest in whether or not we're going to be seeing Ben play NFL or CFL football next year, that I've been assured by Ben that he has no intention of playing pro football. He wants to pursue his career as a runner. I want all of you to remember when Ben thought he'd won the gold medal, how proudly he raised the Canadian flag and ran around the track. I'd like to leave that image of Ben with you until the probe is completed. Please understand what a difficult time this has been for Ben and his family, and that is why the forum that we are conducting today is, in our opinion, the most appropriate. We have asked Ben and his family to stay behind after I answer some of your questions for a brief photo session, and hopefully that'll be something that will satisfy all of you people who want to take pictures at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my statement. I'd like to limit the question period to 15 minutes. When questions are asked, I'd like you to identify your name and what form of media